Sometimes it feels like life is disappearing faster than we can live it. Monday turns into Friday almost instantly. Months pass without leaving anything behind. And one day you realize you can remember a small moment from years ago more clearly than something that happened last week. A car ride at night, rain against a window, a quiet summer evening that somehow still feels alive in your head. But now everything feels blurred together. The mornings, the conversations, the people, even memories don't stay still anymore. Maybe that's why modern life feels so strange. Because nothing feels permanent long enough to emotionally touch us. We scroll past moments before they fully exist. We live through screens more than places. And every year starts feeling shorter than the last one. Like time itself stopped slowing down for us. There was a time when days felt bigger, when nights felt endless, when boredom stretched the world into something almost infinite. But somewhere between endless notifications, constant noise, and the pressure to always keep moving, life stopped feeling slow. And maybe that's why so many people feel emotionally disconnected now. Not because life became empty, but because everything started moving too fast to truly feel real. There was a time when life actually felt long. Not in years, but in moments. A single summer used to feel endless. One night could become a memory that stayed with you forever. Even waiting felt bigger back then. Sitting in the back seat of a car at night, looking out the window during rain, walking home with nothing playing in your ears except your own thoughts. Time moves slowly enough for life to leave an emotional mark on you. But now most days disappear before we even notice them. Morning becomes night almost instantly. Weeks melt together. Conversations fade within hours. And sometimes it feels like we're experiencing life too fast to emotionally process it. You wake up tired, check your phone, scroll for a while without thinking, answer messages, watch random videos you barely remember an hour later. Then suddenly it's nighttime again. And the strange part is, this has become normal. The human brain was never designed to absorb this many moments this quickly. Every day is filled with noise now. Notifications, short videos, constant updates, endless information. There's always something replacing the last thing before it even has time to emotionally reach us. And slowly, life starts feeling temporary. Not tragic, not empty, just strangely difficult to hold on to. That's why entire months can disappear without leaving a clear memory behind. Because nothing stays still long enough anymore. Everything overlaps. Every thought gets interrupted. Every quiet moment gets filled immediately. Even boredom almost disappeared. And maybe that's more important than people realize. Because boredom uses slow time down. It gave your mind space to absorb life, to notice small things. The sound of rain outside your room, streetlights passing by car window, the feeling of a quiet night that seemed like it would last forever. But now silence feels uncomfortable to most people. So we keep filling every empty second. And somewhere inside all that noise, time started moving faster than us. People like to say time moves faster when you get older. But that doesn't fully explain this feeling. Because modern life doesn't just feel fast. It feels unfinished. Like every moment gets interrupted before it can emotionally settle inside you. You open one app, then another, then another. You start listening to music while checking messages, watching videos while eating, thinking about tomorrow while living through today. Your attention almost never stays in one place anymore. And maybe that's why memories feel weaker now. Because attention is what gives moments emotional weight. Years ago, life had pauses in it. Long car rides staring out the window, waiting for someone to call, getting bored during quiet afternoons, walking without headphones, lying in bed with nothing to distract you from your own thoughts. Those empty spaces mattered more than we realized, because that's where memory was formed. That's where emotions had time to fully exist. But now the brain barely rests. The moment silence appears, we reach for something. Our phones, music, videos, notifications, anything to avoid empty space. And after enough years of living like this, life starts feeling compressed, like your mind stopped separating one day from another. That's why people remember childhood summers so vividly, because back then, time felt enormous. A single week could feel infinite. A random afternoon could become a permanent memory. Not because life was perfect, but because your brain was fully inside those moments. Now, most people experience life while mentally somewhere else, thinking ahead, scrolling forward, consuming the next thing before the current moment even finishes happening. And slowly, everything begins to blur together. Restaurants, conversations, birthdays, weekends, entire seasons disappear almost instantly. Until one night, you suddenly stop and realize you can barely remember the last few years clearly. Not because nothing happened, but because everything happened too fast. Maybe the strangest part of modern life is how quickly everything disappears emotionally. People disappear, places disappear, feelings disappear. Even excitement doesn't last the way it used to. You wait for something all week, then it ends in a few hours. You buy something new, and your brain gets used to it almost immediately. You talk to someone every day, then one day you suddenly never speak again. And life just keeps moving like nothing happened. That's the feeling so many people struggle to explain now. Not sadness exactly, more like emotional impermanence. Like nothing fully stays with us anymore. Maybe that's why nostalgia feels stronger than the present for a lot of people. Because older memories seem heavier somehow, warmer, slower, more alive. You remember the atmosphere of things, the lighting in your childhood room, the sound of television late at night, rain outside the window during school breaks, a quiet drive home while everyone else in the car was asleep. Those memories feel almost frozen in time. But modern life rarely feels like that anymore. Everything moves too quickly to settle into us. The internet changed the emotional rhythm of life. Before all this, people actually left moments unfinished in their minds. Now, every feeling gets replaced instantly. You feel sad, then scroll. You feel lonely, then open another app. You feel bored, then consume something new within seconds. Nothing lingers anymore, and emotions need lingering. That's how human beings process life. Not through constant stimulation, but through reflection, silence, stillness. The problem is, modern life became terrified of stillness. So now people are constantly connected, but emotionally disconnected from their own lives. Days pass without being fully noticed. Conversations happen without being remembered. Moments end before they emotionally begin. And eventually people start feeling detached from time itself, like life is happening around them instead of to them. Maybe that's why so many nights feel strangely nostalgic now. Because nighttime is one of the few moments when the world finally slows down again. The noise becomes quieter. The notifications stop for a little while. And for a moment, you can actually feel time passing again. And maybe that's the real reason life feels faster now. Not because time changed, but because our minds never truly stop moving anymore. We carry noise everywhere, into bedrooms, into conversations, into quiet moments that used to belong only to ourselves. Even rest doesn't feel like rest anymore. Most people fall asleep while scrolling, wake up and immediately reach for their phones, spend the entire day consuming thoughts that don't belong to them, then wonder why life feels mentally distant, why memories feel weaker, why years disappear so quickly. The human mind needs slowness, not all the time, but enough to feel connected to existence, enough to notice life while it's happening. Because some of the most meaningful moments we ever experience are quiet ones. A late train ride home, rain hitting the window beside you, a silent walk after midnight, sitting alone while the world outside slowly moves past you. Those moments feel different because they ask nothing from us. No performance, no speed, no constant reaction, just presence. And maybe that's what so many people are truly missing now. Not happiness, not success, just presence. The ability to fully exist inside a moment before it disappears. Because modern life keeps teaching people to rush through everything. Rush conversations, rush relationships, rush experiences, rush entire years, until life starts feeling less like something we're living and more like something we're trying to keep up with. Maybe that's why old memories hurt sometimes, because they remind us what slowness felt like, what emotional connection felt like, what it felt like to live inside a moment instead of racing past it. And maybe none of this means life is ruined. Maybe people just forgot how to slow down emotionally, how to sit with moments long enough for them to become real. Because in the end, somewhere beneath all the noise, all the scrolling, all the movement, the human mind is still searching for the same thing it always was. A moment that feels large enough to stay. A night that doesn't disappear immediately. A memory that keeps its weight over time. Something real enough to outlive the speed of modern life.